was not aligned with your future. What is truly yours will never need to be forced. It will not require you to compromise your peace, your values, or your self-respect. It will fit naturally without confusion or emotional exhaustion. When life closes a door, it is often clearing the path towards something more stable, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. This chapter invites you to imagine the universe working behind the scenes, rearranging your path and removing obstacles you didn't even know existed. Sometimes you want something so badly that you overlook the red flags, the misalignment, or the emotional weight it brings. But life sees the whole picture. Life knows when something will hurt you, drain you, or break you down. Closing doors becomes a form of protection. Even if the loss feels painful in the moment, you will eventually understand why it had to happen exactly the way it did. This chapter asks you to trust the timing of your life, especially when things don't go your way. Trust that what is meant for you will come with clarity, not confusion, with peace, not pressure, with alignment, not resistance. Trust that every closed door is guiding you towards something more suitable for who you are becoming. You are not being punished. You are being redirected. You are being prepared. You are being guided toward greater things, even if the path feels uncertain now. Life is not trying to take from you. It is trying to make room for better. This chapter teaches you to release the belief that closed doors reflect inadequacy. They reflect protection. They reflect alignment. They reflect growth. When you stop seeing them as losses and start seeing them as guidance, your entire perspective shifts. You begin to understand that life is not random. It is intentional. Everything that leaves your path leaves for a reason, and everything that stays, stays for a reason. This chapter encourages you to walk forward with faith, believing that every closed door is leading you closer to the life meant for you. One day, the things that didn't work out will make sense. One day you will look back with gratitude for the doors that closed, the plans that failed, and the opportunities that slipped away. You will see that they weren't losses at all. They were redirections toward something far better than what you once thought you wanted. Chapter 7 begins with a gentle reminder that there is a quiet kind of beauty in patience. A beauty that softens your heart and steadies your spirit when you learn to slow down instead of rushing through life's moments. This chapter invites you to see patience not as a burden, but as a gift. A way of becoming more present with yourself and more connected to the world around you. In a world that constantly pushes you to hurry, to achieve it quickly, to always be moving, patience becomes an act of rebellion, a conscious choice to honor your own rhythm rather than surrender to the pressure of speed. This chapter encourages you to embrace slowness, not as a sign of failure, but as a sign of awareness. A recognition that some of the most meaningful moments in life happen when you pause long enough to truly feel them. When you slow down, you begin to notice the small details that rushing would have stolen from you. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of your own breath, the steady beat of your heart that carries you forward, the quiet strength inside you that whispers you are capable. You are growing. You are becoming. This chapter teaches that patience connects you to your inner world, giving you space to listen to your intuition, to understand your emotions, and to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Rushing often comes from fear, the fear of missing out, the fear of falling behind, the fear of not being enough, but patience is born from trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your path. Trust in the timing of your life. When you choose patience, you choose peace. You choose to believe that you do not need to force anything to make it yours. You choose to release the pressure of comparison and honor the pace that feels natural for you. This chapter shows that patience is more than waiting. It is the quiet discipline of holding on to faith even when results are not visible. It is understanding that growth happens in ways you cannot always see. Flowers bloom after months of stillness beneath the soil, and you too are blooming in ways that will reveal themselves at the right time. This chapter encourages you to see patience as an emotional muscle that strengthens each time you use it. Every moment you choose calm over anxiety, acceptance over frustration, and understanding over resistance, you become more grounded, more resilient, and more aligned with your purpose. Life may not always move at the pace you want, but it always moves at the pace you need. Patience allows you to navigate delays with grace rather than bitterness. It transforms the waiting periods into opportunities for reflection, healing, and preparation. Instead of rushing toward the next moment, you learn to appreciate the one you are in, understanding that this moment, no matter how still or slow, has value. This chapter dives into the idea that when you learn to be patient, you also learn to be grateful. Gratitude grows in moments of stillness because it teaches you to appreciate what you have rather than focus on what you lack. It teaches you to find joy in progress rather than perfection. It teaches you to value peace over urgency. The chapter reminds you that patience is not about idly sitting in expectation. It is about actively cultivating peace within yourself as life unfolds. It is about trusting that you are not falling behind, that nothing meant for you will pass you by, and that the journey itself holds lessons you will cherish one day. When you practice patience, you discover a new relationship with time. Time stops feeling like an enemy and becomes a companion, guiding you gently forward, knowing exactly when to bring certain people, opportunities, and experiences into your life. Chapter 7 ultimately encourages you to embrace the beauty of patience, to trust that slowing down allows your inner world to strengthen, and to believe that your life is unfolding with intention. There is no need to rush. You are right where you are meant to be, and everything meant for you will arrive with perfect timing. Chapter 8. Chapter 8 begins with the reminder that many of the experiences in your life that feel like losses, delays, or disappointments are actually blessings in disguise, carefully arranged by life to shape you into the person you are meant to become. This chapter encourages you to see that what you perceive as failure is often preparation, and what you see as rejection may be protection from something that would have been harmful or limiting to your growth. You may feel frustrated when things do not happen as quickly or as smoothly as you had hoped, when opportunities pass you by, or when plans fall apart despite your best efforts. But this chapter asks you to pause and consider the deeper purpose behind these moments. Every delay, every closed door, every moment that tested your patience is actually a teacher, guiding you toward alignment, clarity, and understanding. Life has a way of rearranging circumstances to ensure that what arrives in your life is not only what you want, but also what you are truly ready to receive. This chapter reminds you that timing matters, that rushing toward something prematurely can lead to disappointment, while waiting allows you to grow into the person capable of handling the blessings you desire. Often, you cannot see the invisible work that is happening beneath the surface. You cannot see how experiences that feel painful are strengthening your resilience, sharpening your judgment, and cultivating your character. Every heartbreak, setback, and period of uncertainty is like a seed planted underground, silently preparing you for a harvest you could not have imagined. This chapter asks you to embrace patience and trust the unseen processes at work in your life, understanding that nothing is wasted and nothing is random. Sometimes you think you are falling behind, that life is unfair, or that others are moving faster. But this chapter teaches you that comparisons are meaningless because everyone has a different journey, and your growth cannot be measured by someone else's pace. Every challenge you have faced, every tear you have shed, every struggle you have endured is equipping you to receive your future with gratitude and strength. What you once thought was a missed opportunity may have actually been a protective measure, a way of ensuring that the path you eventually walk leads to greater joy, fulfillment, and alignment with your purpose. This chapter encourages you to shift your perspective, to look back at your life and recognize the hidden blessings in the moments you once resented or feared. The times you felt delayed were actually moments of preparation. The moments you felt rejected were moments of redirection. The moments you feared would hold you back were moments of growth. Life's timing is precise, even when it feels slow or confusing, and the more you trust it, the more peace and clarity you will experience. This chapter also teaches that patience and trust are active practices. They require conscious choice, not passive hope. You strengthen your ability to wait gracefully by cultivating gratitude, reflection, and understanding of your journey. The more you learn to recognize hidden blessings, the more you will appreciate the intricacy and intention behind the path you are walking. Chapter 8 ultimately invites you to embrace the truth that nothing in your life is wasted, that every delay, setback, and obstacle has contributed to the person you are becoming, and that the blessings you seek are being prepared for you with care, arriving at the exact moment when you are ready to receive them fully. Be trusting the timing of your life and seeing every delay as a blessing. You can walk forward with hope, courage, and faith, knowing that everything meant for you will come, and it will be worth the wait. Chapter 9. Chapter 9 begins with a profound reminder that everything truly meant for you will find its way into your life. And no matter how long it takes, it will arrive at the perfect time, in the perfect way, and with perfect alignment. This chapter encourages you to release the anxiety and fear that come from rushing, from comparing yourself to others, or from believing that life is passing you by. You may feel impatient when opportunities seem delayed, when dreams feel distant, or when others around you seem to achieve success more quickly than you. Yet, this chapter reminds you that life is not a race, and the timing of your journey is uniquely tailored to you. Your pace does not determine your worth, and delays do not signify rejection. Instead, these pauses are often moments of preparation, invisible yet essential, that equip you to receive what is truly yours with the readiness and capacity it deserves. Sometimes, you may feel as if doors are closing and paths are disappearing. But this chapter teaches you that what is not meant for you will never persist, and what is meant for you will always find a way. It emphasizes the importance of trusting in the unfolding of your life and in the wisdom of timing that may not yet be visible. Life often rearranges circumstances, tests your resilience, and asks you to wait, not to punish you, but to strengthen you, to deepen your understanding, and to prepare you for blessings that are far greater than what you initially imagined. This chapter also highlights the necessity of patience and faith, explaining that rushing towards something before you are ready can lead to disappointment, misalignment, and missed opportunities, while waiting with trust allows the universe to deliver outcomes that are fully aligned with your growth, your values, and your purpose. You are invited to consider that delays are not denials. Setbacks are not failures, and unanswered questions are not signs of neglect. They are opportunities to cultivate wisdom, resilience, and inner peace. Life is working even when it seems still, and every moment of waiting is a chance to strengthen your emotional and spiritual foundations. This chapter further encourages you to shift your focus from what is absent to what is present, to recognize the lessons in waiting, the growth in patience, and the alignment in timing. The more you practice seeing the hidden purpose in delays, the more empowered and grounded you become. You begin to understand that your journey is unfolding exactly as it should, that what arrives in your life is never early or late, but precisely when it is meant to be. Chapter 9 also teaches that trust is not passive. It is an active commitment to believe in the unseen, to surrender control without surrendering hope, and to remain faithful to your path even when clarity is delayed. By trusting that everything destined for you is moving toward you, you allow life to guide you to the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences that align with your highest good. This chapter reassures you that nothing truly meant for you will slip away. Nothing will arrive before it is ready, and nothing will be withheld from you without reason. Paciencia, trust, and alignment work together to ensure that the blessings you seek come into your life in the perfect way, enhancing your growth, joy, and fulfillment. Chapter 9 ultimately invites you to embrace the certainty that life is precise, intentional, and deeply caring, and that, by trusting the process, you open yourself to receive everything meant for you at exactly the right moment, knowing that every delay, pause, and waiting period is part of the divine orchestration of your journey. Chapter 10 begins with the powerful reminder that gratitude grows strongest in the seasons of waiting, in the moments when life does not move according to your plans, and in the spaces where patience is required most. This chapter encourages you to shift your perspective from focusing on what is missing, delayed, or seemingly unattainable, to recognizing the blessings that are already present in your life, no matter how small or subtle they may seem. When life slows down, when doors remain closed, and when your efforts appear to yield little visible progress, it is easy to feel discouraged, frustrated, or even resentful. But this chapter gently asks you to see these periods of stillness not as setbacks but as opportunities to cultivate a deeper appreciation for what you do have. Gratitude is not simply a polite acknowledgement of good fortune. It is an active, conscious practice that reshapes your perception of the world and aligns you with abundance rather than scarcity. This chapter teaches that by focusing on what is already working, what lessons you have learned, what strength you have gained, and what relationships and experiences continue to nurture you, you create a foundation of contentment that no external circumstance can shake. Life may not always provide instant answers or immediate rewards, but by embracing gratitude in the waiting, you allow yourself to experience peace in the present moment and trust in the process of your growth. This chapter also explores the connection between patience and gratitude, emphasizing that when you recognize the value of delays and the lessons hidden in challenges, you begin to see life itself as a teacher, guiding you to become wiser, stronger, and more resilient. Gratitude encourages reflection on the journey rather than obsession with the destination. It teaches you to honor your progress, to celebrate the small victories, and to acknowledge the ways in which your past struggles have prepared you for the present and the future. This chapter reminds you that even in seasons of uncertainty, there is always something to be grateful for, a moment of learning, an act of kindness, a personal victory, or even the mere fact that you have survived and continued moving forward. When you cultivate gratitude, you are not ignoring difficulties. Rather, you are reframing your experience to recognize that each challenge contains the seeds of growth, and that every delay may carry hidden blessings you cannot yet see. Chapter 10 encourages you to practice gratitude as a lens through which to view your entire life, not just the moments of apparent success. By appreciating the journey itself, you release the pressure to force outcomes, to rush toward the results, or to despair over what has not yet arrived. Instead, you anchor yourself in the richness of the present, understanding that the path you are walking is shaping you for something greater. Gratitude in waiting transforms frustration into patience, fear into faith, and doubt into trust. It teaches that every small step forward is significant. Every experience contributes to your growth, and every lesson learned strengthens your capacity to receive the blessings awaiting you. This chapter ultimately reminds you that patience and gratitude are intertwined allies. Patience allows you to wait with trust, and gratitude allows you to see the value in every moment of that wait. By practicing gratitude even in the slowest, most uncertain seasons of life, you align yourself with a deeper understanding that the universe is orchestrating your journey with intention, and that everything, no matter how delayed, is shaping you to receive the fullness of what is meant for you. Chapter 10 invites you to embrace this truth, to nurture a heart of thankfulness, and to allow gratitude to transform waiting into a rich, meaningful, and peaceful part of your journey. Chapter 11 begins with a profound understanding that every challenge, setback, and difficult experience you have faced in life has contributed to shaping the person you are today, and that nothing has been wasted, even the moments that felt painful, unfair, or overwhelming. This chapter reminds you that your journey is cumulative, built not only from victories and achievements, but also from struggles and failures that taught you resilience, patience, and wisdom. Every obstacle you encountered, every disappointment you endured, and every fear you confronted has added layers of depth, strength, and understanding to your character. This chapter encourages you to reflect on the lessons hidden within your hardships, recognizing that they were preparing you for the blessings and opportunities that await you. Often, you may feel as though the difficulties you endure are unnecessary or cruel. But this chapter asks you to see them as essential growth points, shaping your mind, heart, and soul in ways that comfort and ease never could. The pains and trials you faced forced you to confront limitations, to adapt, and to grow beyond what you thought possible. And in doing so, they equipped you to handle greater responsibilities, deeper love, and more meaningful achievements in the future. This chapter teaches that nothing in life happens arbitrarily. Even the struggles are intentional, guiding you toward alignment with your purpose and ensuring that you are prepared for the experiences that matter most. When you look back, you will see that the difficulties you once resisted or resented were the very things that strengthened you, clarified your goals, and helped you understand your true priorities. The chapter emphasizes that every tear shed, every heartache endured, and every moment of doubt or uncertainty has value, because it contributed to your growth and readiness for the next chapter of your life. Chapter 11 also encourages you to embrace the mindset that challenges are not punishments, but opportunities for transformation. and that what once seemed like a setback may actually have been a setup for something far greater than you could have imagined. This chapter reminds you that growth is often invisible while it is happening. The changes that occur within you, quietly and gradually, prepare you to receive blessings that are significant, lasting, and deeply aligned with your purpose. When you face difficulties, it is not a sign that you are failing, but a sign that life is refining your character, deepening your resilience, and equipping you with the strength necessary to navigate future experiences with wisdom and confidence. Chapter 11 emphasizes that every experience, no matter how challenging, contributes to a version of you that is capable of embracing life more fully, loving more deeply, and achieving more meaningfully than you could have without the lessons learned. It also teaches that gratitude for hardships, for the lessons they impart, and for the personal growth they foster, allows you to move forward with clarity and confidence, rather than being weighed down by regret or resentment. This chapter invites you to see your past as a teacher, your struggles as mentors, and your journey as a carefully crafted process that has prepared you for the blessings yet to come. Be understanding that nothing has been wasted, and that every experience has served your growth. You gain the perspective and patience to trust the unfolding of your life. Chapter 11 ultimately encourages you to honor your journey, to appreciate the strength and wisdom you have gained, and to recognize that the challenges you endured were necessary building blocks, shaping you into a person who is ready to receive the fullness of life's blessings with gratitude, resilience, and a heart open to growth.
Chapter 12. Chapter 12 begins with the reminder that trusting the process of life is not always easy, especially when you feel uncertain, overwhelmed, or unsure of what comes next. Yet it is in these very moments that trust becomes the most powerful tool you possess. This chapter encourages you to understand that life unfolds in ways that are often beyond your understanding, guided by a wisdom that sees far beyond your current circumstances. You may find yourself questioning why certain things happen the way they do, why some people leave, why opportunities slip away, or why the path ahead seems foggy and unpredictable. But Chapter 12 teaches you that trust is about believing that even when you cannot see the full picture, something meaningful is taking shape behind the scenes. Trusting the process means releasing the need to control every outcome, recognizing that forcing things rarely leads to peace, and understanding that what is meant for you will arrive in its own timing. Life has a rhythm, a divine timing that does not always match your own desires, yet it unfolds with purpose, intention, and care. This chapter reminds you that even the moments of confusion, stillness, or delay are part of a bigger plan designed to guide you toward growth, wisdom, alignment. You may feel lost at times, as if the path ahead is uncertain or disappearing beneath your feet. This chapter explains that trust requires you to keep walking anyway. To take one step, then another, fueled not by clarity but by faith. It teaches you that every part of your journey, even the painful parts, is preparing you for the future you crave, shaping you into the person who will be able to hold the blessings that await you. Trusting the process also means believing that what leaves your life was never meant to stay, and what stays was always meant to be part of your journey. Allowing life to unfold naturally without forcing, rushing, or doubting your worth because of delays or detours. This chapter emphasizes that detours are not failures, they are redirections, steering you away from what could harm you and toward what will elevate you. When things do not work out as you expected, it can be tempting to panic, to assume you are falling behind, or to question your abilities, but chapter 12 gently reminds you that timing is everything, and your life is aligning perfectly, even when you cannot yet see the results. Trust is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. It allows you to release fear and embrace peace, knowing that everything is working out behind the scenes. This chapter encourages you to reflect on your past and recognize how many times things eventually worked out, even when you once feared they would not. You survived, you learned, you grew, and you became stronger because of everything you faced. These memories are proof that you can trust the path ahead when it seems unclear. Chapter 12 also teaches that trusting the process does not mean doing nothing. It means doing your best while surrendering the rest. It means taking inspired action while allowing life to handle what is beyond your control. You do not need to know every detail of what is coming. You only need to know that you are capable, worthy, and guided. Trusting the process allows you to breathe more deeply, love more openly, and move through life with confidence, knowing that every experience is shaping your journey in meaningful ways. This chapter ultimately reminds you that trust is an act of courage, a choice to believe that life supports you even in moments of doubt. When you embrace trust, you open yourself to endless possibilities, understanding that the process is not meant to break you. It is meant to build you. By trusting the timing, the lessons, the delays, and the unfolding of your journey, you allow yourself to grow with peace, confidence, and faith that everything is falling beautifully into place. Chapter 13 says, Chapter 13 begins with the powerful reminder that letting go is one of the most courageous acts you can perform, because it requires faith in the unknown, acceptance of what cannot be changed, trust that releasing what no longer serves you will make room for something greater. This chapter teaches that holding on to situations, people, or expectations that drain you or stunt your growth only delays your progress and clouds your clarity. You may cling to certain memories, habits, or relationships out of fear of loneliness, fear of change, fear that nothing better will come. But chapter 13 encourages you to understand that letting go is not losing, it is liberating. Life cannot bring new blessings into hands that are tightly gripping the past. This chapter reminds you that growth often requires a release. Your evolution depends on shedding old layers, and that peace comes from accepting that not everything or everyone is meant to stay with you forever. Letting go is an act of self-respect, acknowledging that your energy, time, and heart deserve to be invested in things that nourish your spirit rather than drain it. This chapter asks you to consider the emotional weight you carry. The disappointments, the regrets, the anger, unmet expectations, and recognize how much lighter your journey would feel if you chose to release them. The past cannot be rewritten, but it can be released, and in letting go, you reclaim your power, your clarity, and your emotional freedom. This chapter also explores the importance of letting go of control, reminding you that life cannot be forced into the shape you desire. There are moments when no amount of planning, pushing, or resisting can change the outcome. Life is moving you towards something better than what you imagined. By surrendering control, you allow life to unfold in ways that align with your highest good rather than with your fears. Chapter 13 explains that letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of wisdom, recognizing that your peace is worth more than your attachment to what is familiar. It invites you to recognize when something has run its course, whether it is a friendship that has become one-sided, a dream that no longer aligns with who you are becoming, or a version of yourself that you have outgrown. When you let go with love instead of resistance, you open space for transformation, healing, and new possibilities that once seemed impossible. 13 reminds you that sometimes letting go is the only way to receive the clarity needed to move forward. As you release the past, its hurts, its misunderstandings, its closed doors, you create the space for new opportunities, new relationships, and new paths to enter your life. What felt like an ending becomes a beginning. What felt like loss becomes liberation. Letting go allows you to shift your focus from what is gone to what is possible, from what was to what can be. This chapter encourages you to trust that what is meant for you will remain, not because you hold on tightly, but because it is aligned with your growth, your spirit, and your future. Letting go removes the burden of trying to force outcomes or convince others to care, stay, or understand. It frees your heart from the exhausting cycle of trying to make something work that was never meant to. Chapter 13 emphasizes that peace arrives when you stop fighting for things that drain you and instead choose to align with what uplifts, strengthens, fills you. Letting go is an act of courage, a declaration that you value yourself enough to choose what supports your emotional and spiritual well-being. This chapter invites you to embrace the beauty of release, to trust that endings are often disguised beginnings, and to believe that by letting go, stepping into a future that holds more growth, peace, and joy than your past ever could. Ultimately, Chapter 13 teaches that letting go is not about forgetting. It is about freeing yourself from what weighs you down so that you can rise into the person you are meant to be. Chapter 14 begins with the reminder that inner peace is not something you stumble upon by accident. It is something you intentionally create, protect, and nurture, especially in a world that constantly pulls your attention in every direction. This chapter teaches that peace is a choice, a daily, conscious decision to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being over chaos, negativity, and unnecessary battles. You may feel overwhelmed at times by the noise around you, the expectations of others, the pressures of responsibilities, the weight of unresolved emotions, the stress of unpredictable circumstances. Yet, Chapter 14 reminds you that peace begins within, and it grows when you learn to distance yourself from anything that disturbs your spirit. This chapter encourages you to understand that not every situation deserves a reaction, not every conflict requires your energy, and not every opinion needs to affect your sense of worth. When you choose peace, you choose to walk away from what drains you, from what steals your joy, and from what keeps you stuck in cycles of worry or frustration. This chapter also emphasizes that protecting your peace often means setting boundaries. Clear, firm, respectful limits that safeguard your emotional space. Boundaries are not walls, they are self-respect. They help you preserve your energy for the people and experiences that nurture your growth rather than deplete it. Chapter 14 encourages you to release the guilt attached to saying no, reminding you that you cannot pour into others from an empty cup. Peace matters, and guarding it is not selfish, it is necessary. When you choose to maintain your inner calm, you become more present, more grounded, and more in tune with your intuition. You begin to understand the difference between what deserves your attention and what you can let go of. You learn to respond instead of react, to think instead of panic, and to move forward with clarity instead of emotional chaos. This chapter also explores the importance of solitude. The quiet moments when you step away from the noise of the world and reconnect with yourself. Solitude is not loneliness, it is where healing begins. It is where you hear your own thoughts, honor your emotions, and realign with your purpose. Chapter 14 reminds you that when you spend time with yourself, you learn to understand your needs, your boundaries, and your values. You become more aware of the people and situations that are good for your soul and the ones that quietly drain your light. Peace grows when you stop chasing validation and begin nurturing self-acceptance. It grows when you release the desire to control everything and instead trust that life is unfolding in divine order. Peace strengthens when you stop carrying burdens that are not yours and let go of expectations that weigh heavily on your heart. Chapter 14 teaches you that peace is not the absence of problems, it is the ability to handle them with grace, patience, and emotional maturity. Life will continue to present challenges, but when your foundation is peaceful, you meet those challenges with strength rather than fear, with clarity rather than confusion. You learn to breathe through discomfort, to pause before reacting, and to choose understanding over frustration. With attention, peace becomes your anchor, keeping you grounded in moments that would once have shaken you. Ultimately, Chapter 14 invites you to treat your peace as a sacred part of your life, something to guard fiercely and honor daily. When you choose peace, you choose a life that feels lighter, clearer, and more aligned with who you truly are. You allow yourself to grow without being weighed down by external noise or internal turmoil. You welcome calm into your heart, clarity into your mind, and balance into your daily experiences. By protecting your peace, you protect your future, your purpose, and your ability to live with intention and joy. Yes, Chapter 15 does. Chapter 15 begins with the powerful truth that every ending in your life is secretly a beginning in disguise, a gentle push from the universe guiding you toward the next chapter of your growth, even when you may not feel ready to turn the page. This chapter teaches that transitions, whether welcomed or unexpected, are the bridges that carry you from who you were to who you are becoming. Reminds you that life is constantly shifting, evolving, and unfolding, and that change, though uncomfortable at times, is essential for your transformation. You may feel fear when something familiar comes to a close, whether it is a relationship, a job, a routine, or a version of yourself you've held onto for years. Yet, Chapter 15 encourages you to trust that endings are not punishments but invitations, calling you to step into new opportunities, new spaces, and new experiences that align with your growth and purpose. This chapter gently reminds you that holding on to what is no longer meant for you only prolongs your pain, while embracing the shift allows you to move with life instead of resisting it. Chapter 15 also emphasizes that beginnings often appear quietly, hiding behind uncertainty, discomfort, or unfamiliarity. You may not recognize a blessing when it first arrives, especially if it comes wrapped in change or disappointment, but this chapter teaches you to look deeper, to see beyond the surface, and to understand that new chapters rarely start with clarity. They begin with courage. It reminds you that, even if you cannot see where the path is leading, simple act of stepping forward is enough. The future does not require you to know every step. It only requires you to trust that you are capable of taking the next one. Every new beginning is a chance to rewrite parts of your story, to grow in ways you never have before, and to become more aligned with your purpose, your values, and your dreams. This chapter invites you to see transitions as sacred, as mirrors reflecting your resilience, your adaptability, and your capacity to rise after every fall. This chapter also explores the emotional landscape of endings, acknowledging that they often bring grief, confusion, or a sense of disorientation. It is natural to mourn what once was, to feel the weight of memories, or to question whether you made the right choice. Yet chapter 15 teaches that healing does not require rushing. You are allowed to feel, to process, and to rest before stepping fully into what comes next. Do not need to pretend to be strong. Your vulnerability is part of your transformation. What matters is that you do not stop moving forward. Life will not abandon you in moments of transition. It will support you, even in ways you do not immediately recognize. Chapter 15 further reminds you that new beginnings require new versions of you. The person you were in the previous chapter may not be the person you need to be for the next one. This is why life removes what is misaligned. When you resist, growth demands release. It asks you to let go of old habits, outdated beliefs, and limiting fears that keep you anchored in places you have outgrown. This chapter encourages you to trust your evolution. Understand that you are allowed to change your mind, shift your direction, or reimagine your future at any point. You are not meant to stay the same. You are meant to expand, rise, and unfold into the fullest expression of yourself. Ultimately, Chapter 15 beautifully concludes with the reminder that life is a series of beginnings and endings woven together to create the story of your becoming. Every chapter, no matter how painful or beautiful, contributes to your transformation. You are stronger than you know, braver than you realize, and more capable than you often believe. This closing chapter encourages you to walk forward with faith, with openness, and with the understanding that good things take time, and every delay, every ending, every shift you experience is guiding you towards something better. Your next chapter is waiting, and it holds more growth, peace, and purpose than you could imagine.